You want to get better at fighting, so you ask around online and everyone says some variation of the same things. Just play safe angles, don't be too aggressive, but then you watch some streams of the pros and they're dropping high kill games, keying everyone in the cash cup, and it looks like they are not doing any of that. So what gives? Well, just playing safe is relative. What safe means for you may differ completely from what safe means to another player. When pros double pickaxe an opponent's wall, it's still safe for them because if the opponent tried to make an edit on them, they can react fast enough to edit up the cone and out of the box before the opponent can hit them. But if you aren't fast enough to do that consistently, then it isn't safe for you to do the exact same thing. Similarly, when you're able to closely watch the opponent, you can see when they have their blueprint out. When they do, it's fine to open wide peaks where you're exposed because their weapon won't be ready to shoot until after you've shot and reset the edit. But again, this is only safe if you're able to react and close the edit early if you notice them take out their shotgun before you do. The point is, there are a ton of variables that affect every fight you take and what safe means. Whenever you die, the answer for why you died isn't always should have played more defensive. In fact, it usually isn't, because playing safe is also dependent on time. Everyone knows the faster you can end fights, the better. If it's a stacked lobby and zone is about to move, sometimes the risk of dying from jumping in the box is less than the risk of the fight extending. If you know that not getting the zone in the next 20 seconds means you'll get lobby focused and die like 90% of the time, then at that point it's safer to jump in the box and force an aim duel to end the fight. Because if you play safe and the fight lasts 20 more seconds, you'll die to the lobby anyway. The same is true for some spawn fights. If you have a long drawn out spawn fight, sometimes forcing the aim duel to end it is the better option if you know a third party that has a full loadout is on the way to clean up the fight. If you imagine a line from passive to aggressive, all the way on the right would be phasing in every box you see. All the way on the left would be just sitting AFK in a box. Somewhere in the middle you have stuff like safe peeks from a 2x1 and pressuring their wall. You want to be as aggressive as possible, but there's a line you don't want to cross where aggressive becomes dangerous. You ideally want to be as close to the line as possible without crossing it. That way you end your fights as quickly as possible without taking damage. But where that line is depends both on the situation of the fight as well as your skill as a player. The better you get at protecting yourself when the opponent goes for shots, the further up that line goes and the more aggressive you can be without it being dangerous. Way too often when I see people comment on why they died, they'll say to themselves, I should have played more defensively. Sometimes that's true, but sometimes you just missed the edit and it got you killed. That doesn't mean you shouldn't have gone for it, it means you need to practice going for it more so that you don't mess it up when it counts. Of course, in a tournament is one thing, but when just practicing, that's when you should be pushing your limits and risk dying so that you improve from your mistakes. But instead of saying, I shouldn't have been next to their wall, say I need to get faster at editing my cone. Shameless plug, but I do have a map specifically designed for you to practice reacting faster. And it's not like I'm biased or anything, but I think it's a pretty good map. Anyway, if we look back at what the pros are actually doing, it's not that they aren't playing safe, it's just that what's safe for them is much more aggressive than what would be safe for you. Whether that be your reaction time, crosshair placement, movement, whatever is lacking. If you want to drop higher kill games, your goal in practice should be to move that line between safe and dangerous further and further up. I'll leave the links to those on screen. And no leaks, but I might be dropping a new UAFM map in a couple weeks. Just saying. Either way, thanks for watching, thanks to all the members, and I'll see you next time. Farewell.